Consciousness isn't just on or off. Think of it as a spectrum, from the murky waters of micro-sleep to the crystal clarity of heightened awareness. Our minds move through an incredible range of states every single day. Some deepen our perception, others dim it, but each reveals something fascinating about how we experience reality. At one end we have states where consciousness dims, like highway hypnosis or mindless scrolling. At the other, states of such intense awareness that time itself seems to change, like the euphoric clarity of runner's high or the profound shift astronauts experience seeing Earth from space. Most of us move between two primary modes of consciousness. Low consciousness states are like running on autopilot. Those moments when you're scrolling mindlessly through your phone or driving without really noticing the journey. Your brain is functioning, but awareness is dim, unfocused. These states aren't bad. In fact, they're necessary. We can't be hyper-aware all the time, and sometimes autopilot is exactly what we need. High consciousness states, in contrast, are moments of profound clarity and presence. Colours seem brighter, time flows differently, awareness expands. Athletes call it being in the zone. Meditators might call it pure awareness. But they're all describing a heightened state where reality seems more vivid, more immediate, more real than real. What moves us between these states? The factors are surprisingly varied. Your physical environment plays a huge role. Light, sound, temperature can all shift your awareness in subtle but profound ways. Your body's state makes a difference too. Hunger, exhaustion, exercise, even your posture can alter how you perceive reality. Social connections are powerful consciousness shifters. Being alone feels different than being in a crowd. Time of day matters. Your awareness naturally ebbs and flows with your circadian rhythms. Even the spaces you move through can trigger consciousness shifts. That's why libraries feel different than concert halls, forests different than city streets. Let's explore these states in detail, starting with ones you might experience every day but rarely notice. Take hypnagogia, that mysterious space between waking and sleeping. Your visual field fills with geometric patterns, swirling and morphing. Voices might whisper fragments of conversation. Ideas flow strangely, making connections that would never occur to your waking mind. Artists like Salvador Dali deliberately sought this state, calling it the source of their creativity. Its morning counterpart, hypnopompia, is equally fascinating. Here dreams don't just end, they blend with reality. Your bedroom might seem both familiar and alien. Time feels elastic. Many people report their most vivid insights during these moments when consciousness is still reassembling itself. Then there's microsleep, those terrifying moments where consciousness simply blinks out. Your body continues operating, but awareness takes an unauthorized break. Truck drivers know this state all too well. One moment they're watching the road, the next they're snapping back to awareness seconds later with no memory of the gap. Athletic flow might be the most celebrated of high consciousness states. Think of a basketball player who can't miss, every shot perfect, time itself bending around their movements. They'll tell you it doesn't even feel like they're the one playing, their body just knows what to do. The crowd fades away, self-consciousness vanishes, and excellence becomes effortless. Creative flow works similarly, but in the realm of imagination. Writers describe words appearing on the page as if dictated by an unknown source. Painters lose hours in front of a canvas, emerging only when their body demands attention. Time doesn't just pass, it seems to exist in a different dimension entirely. Combat flow is perhaps the most intense version. Martial artists report experiencing time dilation, so extreme they can see individual movements in a flurry of attacks. Pain diminishes, strength enhances, and normal physical limitations seem to dissolve. Notice how physical exertion and intense focus combine to trigger this heightened state. Runner's high isn't just about endorphins, it's a complete consciousness shift triggered by sustained physical effort. Around mile 3 or 4, something remarkable happens. Pain transforms into a kind of pleasure. Exhaustion becomes energy. Runners report feeling connected to every muscle fibre, every breath, while simultaneously floating above it all. Surfer's Stoke takes this even further. When catching a wave, surfers describe melting into the ocean itself. Time warps around the curve of the wave, self-dissolves into motion. Many report continuing to feel the ocean's rhythm hours after leaving the water. Here we see how environment and movement combine to alter consciousness. Climbers experience their own unique state. Hanging hundreds of feet up, they enter a zone where fear transforms into focus. Each movement becomes precisely calculated, yet somehow instinctual. The rock face becomes a dance partner, and gravity feels more like a suggestion than a law. Dance trance shows us yet another dimension. When dancers fully surrender to rhythm, they report their body moving on its own accord. The music doesn't just play, it moves through them. Time becomes purely rhythmic, measured in beats rather than seconds. Deep reading trance might be one of the most common yet overlooked altered states. Ever been so absorbed in a book that someone had to call your name several times? That's your consciousness literally living in another world, processing fictional events as if they're happening in real time. Coding flow shows us how deep focus can alter reality. Programmers describe entering a state where problems solve themselves, where complex solutions appear fully formed, and where hours pass like minutes. The digital world becomes more real than the physical one. Gaming trance is similar but unique. Gamers report complete immersion in virtual worlds where the controller becomes an unconscious extension of will. Reality fades so completely that physical needs, hunger, thirst, exhaustion, go entirely unnoticed. Sensory deprivation reveals how quickly our consciousness can shift when deprived of input. In flotation tanks, after just 15 minutes, the mind begins generating its own reality. Users report vivid hallucinations, out-of-body experiences, and time distortion so profound that minutes can feel like hours or vice versa. The opposite, sensory overload, creates its own unique state. When the brain receives too much input, consciousness can fragment like light through a prism. Time breaks into discontinuous chunks. Reality becomes a kaleidoscope of disconnected sensations. Forest bathing shows us how nature alters consciousness. In deep forests, people report time slowing down, senses heightening, and a deep sense of connection emerging. The Japanese call it Shinrin-yoku, literally bathing in the forest atmosphere. Ocean mind is similar but distinct. Something about vast bodies of water alters our consciousness in unique ways. Time becomes fluid, thoughts slow down, and many report a sense of mental cleansing, as if the ocean is washing through their consciousness. Humans have long sought to understand consciousness through chemical means. Ancient civilizations used plants and fungi in ceremonial contexts, seeking insights into consciousness itself. Today, medical science continues this exploration through more controlled means. Anesthesia shows us perhaps the most profound chemical effect on consciousness. In seconds, awareness can be completely switched off, then restored, raising fascinating questions about the nature of consciousness itself. Patients often report strange time distortions, with hours feeling like moments. Medical research has documented unique states through ketamine therapy. Patients describe experiencing witnessing consciousness, where they observe their thoughts from a completely new perspective. This has opened new avenues for understanding both consciousness and mental health treatment. Even common substances create distinct consciousness states. Caffeine, for instance, doesn't just wake us up, it creates a unique state of heightened awareness and altered time perception. This demonstrates how even subtle chemical changes can significantly shift our experience of reality. Stage presence creates its own altered state. Performers describe moments where they become pure expression, not doing the performance, but being it. The audience becomes a single entity. Time bends around the performance, and self-consciousness dissolves completely. Public speaking trance is fascinating. Speakers report watching themselves speak as if from outside, words flowing automatically, time expanding or contracting around key moments. Many don't remember what they've said, yet deliver their best speeches in this state. The Comptiton zone shows us another dimension. Athletes report entering a state where everything else fades away. Crowd noise dims, peripheral vision narrows, and focus becomes laser sharp. Time slows exactly when it needs to. Collective consciousness emerges in crowds, at concerts, sporting events, or protests. Individual awareness merges into something larger. Emotions synchronize, movements coordinate unconsciously, and people report feeling part of something beyond themselves. Audience trance is subtle but powerful. Watch a captivated audience. Their breathing synchronizes, their movements mirror each other, and they collectively enter a shared reality focused entirely on the performance. The void state is perhaps the most profound. Meditators describe a state of pure awareness without content, consciousness aware of itself, time and self dissolving completely. It's like the screen behind all other states of consciousness. Witness consciousness is similar but distinct. Here you observe your own awareness like watching a movie screen, completely present but somehow detached from the content of experience. Present moment awareness might be the most sought after state. Time stops, reality takes on crystal clarity, and ordinary moments become infused with profound significance. These states aren't just curiosities, they're windows into the true nature of consciousness itself. Each one reveals another way our minds can process reality, suggesting that normal awareness is just one channel on an infinite dial of possible experiences. The next time you find yourself in one of these states, whether it's flow during work, trance during exercise, or simply that strange moment between sleep and waking, remember, you're not just having an experience. You're witnessing your consciousness reveal another of its many fascinating forms. After all, maybe these altered states aren't alterations at all. Maybe they're glimpses of how vast and varied consciousness truly is. Each one a reminder that reality isn't just what we see, but how we're capable of seeing it,